All right. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Truth Tribe. I'm Dawn Thompson, and thank you guys for being here. Remember that you are all perfect exactly where you are right now. In this exact moment, there is nothing wrong with you. Everything you're going through is exactly where you need to be because you're powerful enough to handle it. And remember that I love you. Tonight, we are going to talk about death, rebirth, and some sex learned in my 10 days of fasting. We touched on it last week, but we're going to bring it up again tonight because I think it merits um, a little bit of help and support to help you guys understand. Remember, those of you who are in the Zoom, the chat is open. Please feel free to comment as we go, and or that way I can follow up with them in the Q&A. If you are not in the Zoom, free registration, it's not difficult, but if you sign in, it's a lot easier for me to tap into Q&A there, and they're all easily discussed. I can bring anybody on that wants to be live on the call as well, and we'll have a live discussion at the end during Q&A. Death and rebirth learned in my 10 days of fasting. So what I learned from fasting food and information. So you thought it was just a food fast, right? But it was so much more than that, you guys. Belief systems is something that we're going to be keep talking about because this is what's going on with everybody. It's why everybody's freaking out about the world, that there's no reason for you to be freaking out. Belief systems are blocking you, and it's not the beliefs that you believe, it's the ones that you can't hear in all the static coming in at you at all times. It's the most insanity thing I've ever seen. But when you realize how simplistic it is to get back into power, it's like so empowering just to go, oh, wow, that's it, right? It's time to stop letting outdated fear, because it's all outdated. None of it's even necessary anymore, but outdated fear to dictate your beliefs now. Okay. It's time to embrace curiosity and explore all of the unknown. And what's crazy is the unknown is simple, right? And so I mentioned last week, I'm going to bring it up just for a little bit, that I had fasted for 10 days, right? I shared this last week about the gasps and the groans on not eating for 10 days, right? And the fascinating part is that the comments that were coming in, they were so focused on the smallest part of the experience, which was the food. And so I thought really wanted you guys to grasp that. Why? Because there's a full moon tomorrow that you're all feeling already, and that's why I'm going there. Okay. So by the way, people asked me what it was. It was the lemon master cleanse fast, just because it's an easier fast to do for 10 days, and I don't like juicing. So that's why I use that one. In addition to the food fast, okay, I gave myself an information fast. I do this with a lot of clients, but I did it to myself as well. And I stopped all social media. Most of the posts that you saw for the last, prior last week, they're all scheduled. So they were just going out. And so I stayed off of social media the most I could. And I stopped reading all self-help. I love science. You guys know that. Because we're just energy, we're frequency, right? And so I stopped all science reading, all media, all of it. Okay. So I was not just on a food fast, but I was also on an information fast. So it was just me, right? And it took about 5 days, but my own voice was so loud. And I know a lot of you are starting to catch on to this. Your inner voice is loud right now. Okay. And I did basically all Mercury retrograde stuff. I detoxed the house, I organized, I nested, I just did all the things for me. And I assessed all my routines, all my beliefs, all my habits, all my associations. And what came out of it were first my beliefs about food and my body. So the physical, okay, the aspect of my body. And I realized how my system was programmed to the typical lunch dinner times, right? How I wasn't hungry until I had nothing to do. And when you have nothing to do, you're like, huh. And I realized it was an activity and less a requirement. So what we're forgetting is that we're eating because we're told to eat, but it's not a requirement for your body, right? I also realized about my food that I'm not a great sleeper. I've never been a great sleeper. I slept better, I had more energy, and my inflammation completely like just dropped. I just felt so good. It's almost like I didn't want to start eating again, right? Then it flowed further deep into me, and it got into the emotional aspect because there was that time that it was being spent on me, and I had more time to explore my feelings about myself, right? And about how I felt about what I was doing with my life. If they were outdated, that was a big deal. I had time to see if I loved being in my skin instead of looking for my flaws. Did I really? And I was like, well, I like being in my skin. I actually like me. But I was always looking for flaws. So you're going to find them, right? I had time to choose how I felt about, food instead of what I was taught and the social constructs and the narratives around food. Everything's around food and drink, right? That's what life is so focused on that. Everybody socialized, they come together with food, and that's not a negative. I'm just giving you why we're having a hard time now with extra stimulus. My heart was more open to feeling things that I wanted for the first time during this time, right? Who I wanted to be. Or I also caught all the feelings that I covered up to avoid feeling, or I stuffed them down, right? Like it wasn't my truth. That's not, no, 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 that's not important. And it was important. And I want you guys to start understanding feelings coming up right now are so vitally important that you feel them. Not to get angry, not to go backwards, not to go into the past, but go, is this still for me? Okay. Then it went deeper. And then, as we talked about last week, the mind, the heart, and the sacrum, your base. Okay. So then the security stuff came up for me. And I realized in solitude, I had time to review my personal feelings about myself financially, spiritually, and security wise. Right? What makes me feel secure? And why I felt what I felt, because I wasn't masking it with external narratives and input and making myself busy, having something to do. And so what died in all of this? Because there was a huge ego death that happened during this 10-day window, right? My fear died, my insecurity, right? It just completely, my insecurities just started dwindling left and right, like, it doesn't bother me anymore. Slowing down, my insecurity for slowing down. I'm not good at slowing down, especially work-wise. And I even shut that down. I shut my door to the office. I was like, no, 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 no. And it was hard. My fear of being let down, my body's confidence of 10 days feeling better, not less, by focusing on me. I cannot emphasize what this did. And you guys have to understand, people ask me, well, what do I do, Dawn? Do less. So my mind, my heart, and my sacrum, okay, all became activated with my soul truth and allowed me my 10x frequency in ways I thought I had expansion. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why I was going off. So it came apparent when I was still playing, like in ways I was still playing small. And you don't know you're playing small until you're really focused on you, right? And you think about you're playing small to social external criticisms that you don't even realize you've been carrying. They're not yours anymore. So my insecurities were more hidden, right? That ability to receive help was so hard for me because whenever I did, it often came with IOUs instead of just being a gift. And then those people in my life who showed up just because they just wanted to help, they were everywhere. And then I didn't know what to do with them. I was like, okay, just go with it, Dawn. So I bubbled up these beliefs that were old and restrictive, that were only possible, and they could come from ancestral, as we've talked about this, your epigenetic lines, as well as my own spiritual DNA of clearing. Right? They could have just come from my own DNA, the spiritual DNA. We talk about it in the DMT method at the next event. We'll be talking about it again. You have an energetic grid that's holding lessons and karma and clearing. And I could see it so vividly. Okay. Why do I share this journey? Because I have had so many clients and friends reach out within the last week and a half about fasting. They asked about that and they're like, well, I couldn't do it, but tell me about it. Okay. About cancer. That's been a big topic. Health, family, physical issues coming up for people. And we've talked about this. These are all ascension processes. So you having tools to help you get through it and focus on you is how you do it. And often it's because a lot of these people were reaching out to me and they were going to the doctor for a checkup, or they weren't feeling well or something. And mainstream medicine was telling them, oh, you're really sick. You must follow this or that very like harsh protocol. And they're like, what? Right. And so never, and because it's coming up that we can start taking care of ourselves with less, not more. And so we're getting ourselves confused, like, what do I do now? But I don't feel like that's right. And they've been reaching in and asking me, Dawn, what do I do? And I'm not, again, I will tell you this, like I told you last week, I am not telling you to start or stop anything, not start or stop medicine, not start or stop going to the doctor, none of that. That's on you. Okay. What I'm suggesting is doing a badassery self-assessment. Everybody write that down. I'm going to do a badassery self-assessment. You must have a backup plan or several other plans before you ever go see your doctor, so that you're confident in how you are going to heal yourself in any topic. It can be mental, it can be emotional, it can be physical, it could be all the above. So at the beginning of my new book, Mastering Badassery with Truth, okay? It's on Amazon. It's on all my links. You can find it anywhere. There are gnats everywhere in my house. Sorry for my moments, okay? So I explained right at the beginning of the introduction in Mastering Badassery with Truth. Okay, I explained the definition of badassery. So I want you all to hear this. Bad is defined as the rule breakers. Ass is defined as stubborn. So if you can step into mastering your ability to break your old story narrative rules that you were taught, that's what I'm asking you all to do. And be so stubborn to choose that it's okay for others' option, right? It's okay for them to do what they're going to do, to the doctor, to the this, to the that, as long as you're simplifying, getting less input, and taking care of what this needs. And it's okay for others to have their options, right? And to see them just simply as, you know what? They have poor self-worth. They have, a blocked heart portal. They have a blocked base chakra portal. They have a blocked mind portal. They are blocked in one of these three portals of their energy, and they can't break it. But if you can break it, you will be free to heal, expand, free yourself from anything that you're currently unaware of. But you can't be unaware of it if you go to a doctor and they give you more meds and numb it even more. It's emotion, my friends. It's a feeling. It's a belief system. It's a bullshit belief system that you all have been given by somebody along the way that didn't know any better. That doesn't make them bad. So your habits are literally hiding from you in fear that you're going to kill them. And I knew that would come up because I do it all the time in my coaching practice. So I get it. So I know when I do it with my clients and I put them on a fast, a food, or typically it's an information fast, right? Or a digital fast. Like, stop comparing yourself to the stupid stuff, right? And so when you do that, your ego knows you're staring at it. And it's so afraid you're going to kill it. And by asking others, is this your way? If you go out and ask others like this, should I do this? Should I do that? Okay, doctor. Okay, friend. And you're asking everyone else what to do. It's your way of avoiding what your soul knows is already in your highest good, is to clean out the vessel. So in a nutshell, most people are afraid of literal death right now. And the truth is, it's ego that is afraid of dying. And it's trying to distract you and confuse you with everything under the sun. So it's so vital you understand when people hear, oh, I'm fasting, ask them on what? Because it's really great they're doing it. So you must be a badass. And you must be so stubborn and focus on letting go of the old ego self and let it die. Your ego will never die, but the version of it that's trying to control you to stay in these old cycles of narratives, it needs to die. And when you don't have the same rules and the stories of being abandoned and belittled and unwanted and unwelcome, uneducated, incapable of receiving, if you don't have those stories anymore, you start from neutral, and neutral allows for filling your 10x frequency in. It allows you to start picking you, which is what I did, right? And instead of a negative 10 boulder sitting on top of these portals, right? What starts to happen? You can see your soul clearly. And last week we discussed beliefs, changing your story on the boulders that are in your way. Now I want you to consider your security belief story. What belief story do you have about what makes you feel safe and secure? Okay. This has to do with your sex organs, your pelvis, everything that creates security, foundation, emotion, feeling, right? Your pelvis, your base, your security center. Okay. Like, where are you insecure about? Well, most, I should say, are insecure about sex, money, or vulnerability. Intimacy. Okay. Intimacy is not sex, my friends. Okay. So let me be very clear, which is if that's a trouble area in your life, sex or intimacy or being intimate with a person, I suggest you stop it. Like, stop having sex, stop doing it. Okay. Whether you do it a lot or you don't have it or you don't get it, and learn how to be intimate with your partner, like a sex fast, right? There's another fast you can go on, right? Learn how to just feel and talk to each other. It's the simplest way to heal intimacy challenges in relationships. I do this all the time with clients when they're like, well, we're having problems with this. And I'm like, then stop, right? Most people were not taught how to have intimacy. They were taught how to have procreation and recreation sex on the screen, which is not even real life, right? It's not. So some people, well, a lot of people use sex as their only way to feel. And they have zero ability to feel inside of that or outside of that experience, right? And it's sad because we are all human and we are all here as a sensory being. That's why you can feel, hear, taste, smell, touch, okay? And so to feel all things, that is why you are here. Emotions. Now, most have no idea how to connect with their partners because one or both are shut off and then expecting the outside to fix the inside and make them feel good. So it's that one little 15-minute or 1 minute of time or an hour of time that you randomly experience and go, okay, and that's it, and it's over, and you still feel shitty. Right? So I need you guys to understand the sex organs are more about their creation. Those are the organs of creation. Those are the organs that create our ability to feel and to have experience life. Right? So you have to understand the base chakra that has security in it is all about you feeling and the ability to receive another human being into your life. I'm just using it as that physicality, but the emotion aspect is, can you even just be an emotional connection with another human? Okay. Then the base chakra, the base portal, I call it, we also have to add in money. So you got sex and money in the same department. The financial aspect of the base vortex. Okay. We call it financial because that's where it's based, but it's really all about what gives you security. If you bartered everything in life, you'd have a lot of security. You don't need paper money. So the point is, we just call it money, but it is the financial aspect of you. What do you consider security? So if you're struggling with money or security in your life, it is due to a poor realization of why you are here on this planet. Because if you know why you're here, the money just attaches to it, or the security or the support or whatever flows in, it flows in. So and I'm all about making money, but it's not about, you can't make the money until you know what the flow is. because it has to attach to an energy, right? If you bake cookies for someone and you give it to them, they want to do something back nice for you for the cookies, and the cookies were something you created. It's a form of exchange. So if you haven't taken the zodiac wheel with your medicine wheel, there's a good place to start. Go to courses on my website, IDeserveItNow.com, you guys, and just learn where your Saturn is, because Saturn rules security. So if you know your charts, a lot of you on this call do, go look where Saturn, the planet little brown H, sits in your chart, and you can see how you address stability, security, sex, intimacy, and money. Stability. And you're going to see why and where you have blocks in your energy field, financially, career, and security wise, whether you'll let someone in or not, or you might be wishy-washy and you let everybody in and it's making you deluded about security. It's all right there. So go look for Saturn in your chart. That class is simple, it's short and sweet, but it's zodiac wheels, your medicine wheel. It's your security center for your soul. Okay. Open up all your talents in that area of your life and watch what settles down, and it opens the flow up of safety and security. So you go, oh, my Saturn is all about teaching people how to break out of mental jail. Look what we're all sitting here doing. That's how I bring security into my life. So money and intimacy, guys, I'm bringing that up because they're the biggies. They're the big topics appearing right now. Okay. And both of these were my ahas during the food fast. So I fasted food, but these were my moments of like, holy cow, right? Which food is also a form of grounding your body, bringing it back to earth, putting food that came from the earth back into you to bring you grounded, right? So when food was used to ground and then you remove it, I was forced to see what was left, right? While it was to give my body's, all my organs and my system a break, it broke open so much more for my mind to see the stories that no longer hold power. Okay. And this is what you are all up against right now. So today, whether you guys want to do, whether you do a food fast, an information fast, a digital fast, and information, I mean like books and reading and YouTube and all that. Okay. Or a sex fast or any of it. Okay. Be quiet. Listen to your inner voice and what attention does it need and what does it need to release for good? Because the intimacy that was appearing wasn't just specifically physically for my husband as much as it was I was feeling my own emotions and what old limiting stories were really doing to me, keeping me blocked. And I could see like many of my aha moments were just me being okay with choosing my weird ways, like things I wanted to do, right? And some were so small and odd that I didn't see it till I went to do it. And I was like, wow, I would just let this go or not do it because I'd have so much time filling myself up with all these other things. And I realized I was starting to focus on what I want to do in each moment of time for me. And it is such freedom. And clearly my hubby will, benefit from me being more clear on who I am and what I want and what's valuable to me at my core. So this is not just when people think about these things, they think about one aspect of things instead of what fasting or detoxing actually represents. So the solution that I'm going to give to you is all so simple. Once you see your security blocks, you've got to get everything out of the way in order to see them. And once you see them, it's a simple word, research. Research, my friends. Once you know what you want instead, research every and all options to get it for yourself and watch the universe blow your mind. It will blow your mind. The stuff that's been coming in for me, I'm like, whoa, right? It's amazing. So here's the cool part. We're going to move over to the planetary update. Why do I bring up sex, security, emotions, and intimacy? Because tomorrow, the 23rd, so we're already feeling it right now, maybe wherever you are in the world right now, you might be able to actually Someone's asking about, can you clearly define what I mean by research? I will absolutely push that as the first question in the Q&A. Actually, let me address it right now. What I mean by research is let's just say you are you want to enhance your intimacy in your relationships. Let's talk about that one. Or sex, right? And you're like, I don't really know where to start. Then start researching. How do I bring more intimacy? How do I bring intimacy without sex? How do I bring more security in my life? How do I change my beliefs about that? Like literally everything possible that you could research about that topic. And okay, I make money. And Dawn said, go look at my chart. Saturn's in, I'm using mine in my 12th house, which means it's the mental health, imprisonment, institutions, healing, spirituality. How could I make money in different ways doing that? And write it all down and then research all those ways. And then when it comes to healing, okay, so when it came to healing my physical body and doctors kept telling me there was nothing wrong, my awesome girlfriend on here, a biological dentist, anybody needs one, I will send you to her, but she's an example of I researched anyone who could heal me that would do it naturally. And I had to keep researching and watching movies. I watched movies. I wrote it down in my intentions. I did talk to my spirit guides. I literally went on an absolute rampage looking for how to heal my body with these symptoms. And I tried everything and anything. Now I'm looking at the physical body. Now let's go to intimacy. When someone says don't have sex, what else could you do? It's something huge. I tell people all the time, if you want to clarify, the person asked that question, research, if you give me the specific topic, I can give you what to research on. Cause I'm covering the base of security right now, but how do you research to bring yourself security? Most people who do not have financial security don't have sexual security. They don't have intimacy security. They don't have emotional security. Because when you know your emotions, you're pretty darn clear on how you're going to go get money. You're pretty confident in who you are and what you're worth. It's the worth base chakra, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So I will get right back to that and we'll go finish elaborate. Let's go to the planetary update. Full moon in Scorpio, my friends. So I'm a Scorpio lover. I love Scorpio. I love the sign of Scorpio. I love everything about Scorpio. Now they get a bad rap because they can be sassy, but that's why I love them. Okay. Scorpios. Why? Okay, so it's tomorrow, Tuesday the 23rd, wherever you are in the world, you're probably going to see the full moon tonight already. It's at 4 degrees in the sign, the constellation of Scorpio. So if you know your chart, go see where it sits in your chart and whatever house it's going to affect on you. Scorpio rules transformation from dark to light. Okay. It's the phoenix. It's the death, regeneration, the sign of sex, sexuality, and intimacy. It also rules psychology, right? The dark beliefs you don't want to talk about, right? So I bring up your base vortex, that base of your being. There's an opening in you. There's a base at the bottom. There's an opening here in your heart chakra, and there's an opening here in your belief center chakras. You call them chakras. I just call them vortexes. If the vortex is blocked, there is no flow. Okay. So if we bring up Scorpio, right? The energy should be flowing through all the base chakra. And if it's not, you will feel the pull to understand why from this moon. Okay. The sun right now, in order to have a full moon, you have to have the sun over here shining down onto that moon. And then it shines on the whole moon and you see it bright. Okay. So the sun is opposite the moon right now. Okay. And the sun is in Taurus for security and beauty and money security. Okay. And the opposing forces are working on you, which is Scorpio rules thoughts and emotions and our beliefs, our external, like how do we feel about it? Okay. So you're going to have these opposing emotions, work versus home, what you need versus what you want, creating this inner tension and the external tension. And you're kind of like, right? And so it can lead to like a conflict or a crisis that can drain your energy, which is why if you're not clear with who you are and how to speak your truth, you're going to get tripped up a little bit. Okay. So It's going to be vital that you use your increased emotional strength and your intuition to overcome any relationship challenges, because it's not them. It's showing up for you to see you. See all people from this point forward with compassion from where they are at and their possibility of their vortexes blocked mind, blocked heart, blocked security vortex. So digging into your subconscious awareness, your ego, allows you for an honest and a balanced look at all of your relationships. Okay. And you can see that any relationship dynamics or like negative feelings that are causing disharmony are for you to see within yourself and to open the portals of security and then research the crap out of why you're stuck. Okay, what is it about? What do you believe in money? What do you believe about money? How difficult is it to make money? Did you see people making great strides in their career, but they never made money getting it? Do you believe the same thing? Okay, so let's add to that the Pluto intensity. So the full moon, here's the sun, right? Remember, and it's shining down onto the moon. Okay, so there's this line here. Imagine there's a line. Okay, and that full moon in Scorpio is square up here. And now you've got a square. This is how I teach you guys. Here's the moon, here's the sun, and then down here on the end, here is a square. It's making a perfect square to the planet Pluto, and Pluto is the ruling planet of Scorpio. So it's then intense. Squares are hard to move. It's a strong angle. So it's making your feelings more intense and more challenging to control, because you're like, oh, I don't want to feel this and I feel it. I don't want to feel this and I feel it. I'm like, feel the freaking feeling, my friends. It's okay. So I want you to think of it like a little scorpion getting cornered, and then it puts its tail up for protection. Just don't strike. Don't put your little tail out and get them, okay? This can result in conflict and emotional personal struggles. And it typically comes up with family or intimate friends, okay, or your spouse. All right. So obsessive compulsive behavior comes up because this is psychology. This is your ego. Ego doesn't want to die. So it's going to make you obsess about shit that isn't there, or obsess about your, possible addictions, behavior, manipulation. You might be abrupt. Jealousy might come up. That's Scorpio rules jealousy. Guilt tripping are possible. And then extreme cases, because of this intense Scorpio Pluto energy, cruelty, bullying, because remember, it's opposing the sun in Taurus, and Taurus is the bull. Sexual abuse, domestic violence, things like that. So if you're in those scenarios, I'm bringing it up now. You get the fuck out until you can find safe space, security. Okay, I'm giving you extremes, but I'm telling you what this is going to show you on the screens that I want you to go into your digital devices and detox for this little window. Okay, this is the sign of darkness, Scorpio, psychology. Okay, so this full moon can reveal basically deeply buried emotions in you guys, fears, memories, secrets. So it could be painful, embarrassing even, right? But who gives a shit? A lot of this stuff's embarrassing. I teach this for a living. I tell you all, I go through exactly what you're going through. Okay? I can tell you all this stuff. I got scammed out of a business deal 3 months ago, few months ago. And I'm telling you, it was so embarrassing and just truly beat on my ego. And then I was like, wait a minute, who gives a shit? But get out of the subconscious is what's going to heal you. Going to find out that's what it is that's bothering me, but what do I want instead? The solution. Choose what you want instead and research. Conscious awareness is going to help you with other dark areas of human nature as well. So when you're dealing with your stuff, and then I tell you, wow, when you look out there and you see people struggling, it'll help you have less judgment and less fear and less phobia about it, and more respect for, wow, that's just what they're going through. But watch any phobias, fears, addictions, sexual issues coming up, intimacy issues. Now you know why it's coming up. Okay. Whatever Pluto exposes in your personal world, Pluto, full moon in Scorpio, okay, the challenge can become an opportunity to grow and evolve. And it's just saying, just talk about it. Dawn said it's okay to talk about it. It's not a bad thing. You can gain valuable psychological insight about yourself and all your relationship dynamics if you look at the underlying reasoning of why you are in a relationship around that topic. Your bad habits, your behaviors, your beliefs, they can be eliminated and positively transformed your emotions and your relationships into something you want. As I call it in the DMT method, 10x it. Take that frequency to a higher level. Okay. So then last week, Thursday, Friday, it's still sitting there because it's such a slow conjunction. Jupiter sat on top of Uranus. So Uranus and Jupiter are sitting on top of each other. It's a conjunction, which brings exciting things for surprises and sudden opportunities, greater flexibility, open-mindedness, and it could lead you into some creative breakthroughs and solutions to old problems. So do not shove them down anymore. It's saying, we want to help, okay? The universe is trying to help you. So you could see sudden like financial windfalls, you could see promotions, romance improve if you talk about it. Okay. Expanding consciousness can lead to this increased self-awareness and enlightenment, and then amazing revelations about yourself will come out of it. And that's where confidence comes from, when you get to know yourself of going, oh, that's why I obsess about that, because I don't want to look at this, what I could do instead. That's why I obsess about that. That's why I do that to avoid, because if I do that, I can avoid doing that. That's where it all comes from. Now, here's the best news of the week. Y'all ready? Mercury retrograde is over on Thursday. Mercury retrograde is over on the 25th. It's on Thursday, thank goodness, because it's been really good for me. I shouldn't say in negative. Some computer stuff, but nothing major. It's mostly been good for me because I did shut down and I detoxed and I nested and I just did home stuff and body stuff and mind stuff, and I really went inside and kind of purged. Okay. So it's over on Thursday, stops on Thursday, ghost station. And then Friday, it starts moving forward. But just remember, there's always a shadow week. So keep diligent over your contracts or your communication with others just for a few days after. Doesn't mean you can't start moving forward. And people go, oh my gosh, can I not sign a contract? Absolutely not. You can absolutely sign it, especially if you started contracts and you worked them out and you started new like processes during it. It's saying, great job. You cleaned it up. You cleaned up the loose ends. Now start. So don't think negative about it. It's just saying, make sure you're very, very, your eyes are very detailed on focused on what you want out of it. Okay. All right. Everybody tap into the thymus. Remember, this is your immune center, your immunity. It helps bring out your frequencies, your heart. Everybody tap in and say, I am courage. I am love. I am truth. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. I know courage. I know love. I know truth. My friends, you do have this. As you all see, we're here, 3 years later after all the bullshit y'all been going through. Please stop thinking something outside of you is going to change. The only thing that changes is you. So I'm going to open up Q&A. I've got a few Q&As coming in here, so please feel free to launch them out as you want. But I want you to drop in the Q&A, those of you who are feeling security issues come up, emotional, intimate, financial, emotional security, just feeling like you don't feel safe or stable and you don't know what to do. You know how to get it out. Okay. So I'm going to go pop back real quick to her question, which was about, financial security, how to make money. Okay, so I want to ask you some questions on this topic. She's asking, can you clarify on what you mean by research about making money? And my point is if you took money away, are you doing things that you're willing to let the money come in passively? Are you willing to just go out and put tentacles out and let the money come in different ways and focus on the thing that you love the most? If you guys can use the chat, it's a little bit faster, but maybe I have it open. I just want to make sure it's open. Yeah, it's open. If you can start, I want you guys to start thinking about money, because what happens is this is, again, what I'm going to bring up where I got scammed out of a really bad business deal and it was a financial disaster. It actually woke me up, and it actually made me realize that it wasn't about the money. It was about working with someone who didn't get what I'm trying to do. And I kept trying to push it, push it. I'm paying you, and the money had nothing to do with it. People are paying you, but they're not paying you. They are coming to you for your value and your worth. And if you don't think you're worth it, I don't give a shit how much they pay you. I don't care if you only charge them $1 or $5,000 for an hour. You will not be able to receive it, or you'll get it and you'll lose it just as fast. Why? Because when we don't value what we deliver, it was hard for me for a long time, because what I deliver is air. It's words, it's concepts. But in my mind, like, anyone could get this. Okay, but they don't. And so we have to understand that whatever your gifts are, they are worth the money. So if you sold 5,000 people $1, or one person 5,000, it's the same energy. But we keep wrapping ourselves around, I don't have enough. Now, who taught you that? Society and social constructs. They have taught you that there is not enough, and I'm calling bullshit. Guys, I want you to listen to me about something, and I want you to remember this tonight about this full moon in Scorpio with energy about money and other people's money. There is more money, more food, and more shelter on this planet for every single human being, the gazillions, billions of people on the planet, to have $1 million+ and shelter and food, and still we'd have a surplus. I need you to understand that it's you blocking you from the value and the worth and security and the money. Nobody else. So you have to be very firm with people and let them know what you're worth. And if you're not making it where you want it or how much you want to make it, it means you're doing something that's not allowing it in. Now I want to take it off of money and ask yourself, do you think you're intimately or emotionally available or open? Are you able to share your emotions freely? I want you to tell me, can you attach those two together? The way you are you as tight with money as you are with sharing your emotions with people? Or how you feel? I want to know the answer to that one. Okay. Next question coming in here. Yes, probably tight on both. So the reason I bring that up is because stop focusing on the money and start working then researching how I could be more emotionally open. Using the words, hey, I'm really going to suck at this, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whoever you're talking to, friend, but I'm going to tell you how I feel, and I'm going to suck at it, and please forgive me if I fumble through it, but this is how I feel, and I just need help getting through it. Work on it. Talk through it. Look for words, look for language, look for opportunities, look for all options to find a way to communicate how you feel about who you are better, so you're secure with that. Okay. All right. This one says, why are we afraid to talk about sex or intimacy? Of course. Because we're given stupid narratives and examples to watch. And then we made our physical bodies and our sexuality poo-poo instead of it being sacred and beautiful. And when you make sex less about the body, now I'm talking about, and if we start learning how to make it less about the body and more about the feeling of safety and security, it's a whole different ball game. But we weren't taught that. My answer is you can research and learn how to learn it, right? But then we turned sex into an entire financial industry. So now it's completely become taboo. And so the problem is we took the sacred, real purity out of it, which now we're all silly and clumsy about it, right? And do you know anyone? I don't know a lot of people other than when I teach them, and I know there are sex teachers and intimacy teachers, but you don't know a lot of people out there who are friends or whatever who were taught how to create intimacy instead of sex. Did anybody get an intimacy teacher instead of a sex teacher? I don't know a lot of them. And most men especially don't have a clue, and neither do women, which is why I ask most couples who come to me, stop having sex and detox your bad habits. Only talk and only touch. It's the way you build the safe foundation for great intimacy, because most people start at sex and they forget that they never even tried intimacy. And intimacy is all about touching and feeling and sensory and understanding and engaging in another human being's energy field. We haven't done that ever. It's been about procreation and recreation. And then all of a sudden you get married and you're supposed to now not have procreation and recreation. And now you're supposed to make an intimacy, but you don't do that because you don't know how. It's a stupid, upside down, backwards game. And that's what we've associated with connection and safety. Now we look at it with money, and money's in the same department. So if you're not emotionally confident with your emotions and intimate connection with another human being in your private life, how are you going to be emotionally open and tell them who you are? It all starts to basically mold and melt into each other. And then we can't figure out which one is what. This is a big deal. And this Scorpio is going to bring all this stuff out of us. And most are like, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. You didn't know. Who would know? Right? So when you're having financial challenges, or you're like, how do I make more money? How do you make more emotional confidence in speaking about who you are? Think about your voice, how you speak about it. Do you speak about it up here when you're nervous? Or can you speak about it in your bass? Are you confident about it? Can you speak about it and talk to your partner questions and learn and, be more inquisitive? Are you being interested or interesting? Interesting means you're putting on a show. Interesting is just like someone who's there to be in the, create a story for someone instead of going, I want to be interested in you. That's a different ball game. Okay. Someone says, what is the best fast to do? Honestly, you guys, it's not the food, but the information fast that I tell people. If you want to do a good fast information, if you're focused on one thing, like she was saying, emotions or money or multiple ways that are in your field of work that make you happy, or that's where I would go first. But when you're like, you're more self-aware of it when you're really clearing yourself a lot of that stuff. You don't realize it. But when it comes to food fasting, there's so many versions. You can do juicing, there's celery, there's water, the lemon fast, anything that gives your organs a break from physical digestion, like having to digest food. They don't have to work so hard. Allows your body to kind of relax down more. Okay. And so I'm kind of like, I tell people, pick what works for you, whatever. It could just literally be water for 10 days. It's no difference. So your body will be fine. I promise. We all have plenty of excess to be used up. Let's see here. What someone's asking about Saturn again. Had mentioned that about security. Okay, so I'm gonna use this as our last, unless you guys have more questions regarding some of this, but if anybody can tap into that question, and I love the comment she made, because we want everything to be about money, and the security stuff that's going to come up are your dark secrets. When you can get those dark secrets and how you feel or what scares the shit out of you, you'll make more money. I'm telling you guys, this is so much deeper than you all realize. The things that scare the crap out of you are what's blocking your money, not your talent, not your skill, none of that. It's all the things that scare the crap out of you. They're sitting in your way. Which brings me to this next question. It says, why is Saturn the security planet, or is that what you referenced? Okay. So Saturn basically, let me be very clear. When we talk about planets, you guys all know the planets don't do anything to you. They bring energy to you, and they show you an energy that you hold and or the energy in the sky. So when they bring energy to you, wherever Saturn sits in your own birth chart, remember, if you go on my website, ideserveitnow.com, and you go up to tools, top tools, there's a free birth chart. You can run your chart. You can see where the little brown H is. And so Saturn is the hard knocks planet of lessons, and it's the foundation planet. It rules the groundingness, right? It wants you to build a strong foundation to build your building on, to build your career off of. So if you're avoiding the lesson in that energy of where Saturn sits in that house, you're going to feel insecure. And then you're going to use that area where Saturn sits in your chart to focus on not feeling secure, not being emotionally free, feeling very vulnerable, lacking confidence to stand in your power. And this is just a simple check. The whole class of Zodiac Wheel is your medicine wheel. It shows you where the boulders are in your way, where they're in your way, and then how to undo them. Like, oh, I need to put more energy into that, not run from it. But most people are running. Okay. So it's currently $9. So if you don't have this class, go get it on my website, ideserveitnow.com. It's $9. Like literally, you can't go wrong just to open it up and go learn about Saturn. So it's silly not to grab it, but learn about yourself, where you're stuck and where to fill up those weak spots so you don't avoid them. Most people I catch where Saturn or the moon are typically where they're avoiding their security issues, and they're avoiding it and blaming money, and it's not money. It's where we're avoiding our dark spots. And so thus I will bring you back to the closure of Pluto and Scorpio. Everybody has a ruling planet, right? Every sign gets to have their planet that goes with them. Pluto is the planet that rules Scorpio, and the sign Scorpio is where the full moon is in tonight and tomorrow. Okay. And so you're all going to feel all these old darks, if you haven't been working on your stuff. I worked on my stuff. So I've been, like I said, it's been almost 2 weeks. And I was just like hardcore on myself. I was like, I am not avoiding it. I'm not running from my stuff. I want to look deep into it and see who I am, what I want. I've changed some of the programs I'm delivering, or at least how I deliver, how I talk, and how I shift and give people the understanding of these three portals. Right? These three portals are your belief systems, your heart, which is where you receive. You don't receive in your base chakra. Your base chakra is where you're worth, what you're worth, what you tell people. This is who I am. This is the core of my lighthouse, and my light shines all the way through, all the way into the top. And if it can't get past your base, it's hard to push all the way through and bring yourself into receiving mode. Right? And if you're in a constant state of giving and doing and creating, it's hard to bring it back in. And we think it's about something else like money or status or external or a job, and they won't let me. And that's total bullshit. It's the emotions that you're hiding from that are blocking you. And when they're gone, it allows this entire flow to flow up through you, kind of like a big old water fountain, full of light and full of receiving. So does that make sense? What's going on, guys? There's a big energy going on right now. And when you're going, what is wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. Or why am I feeling old memories, old stuff, dark thoughts, things about people bringing up, like I said, addiction or old issues regarding, like the person that contacted me, it was a sex issue. It was a prostate cancer around their sexuality. Okay, so this stuff's gonna come up some way or another. Address it in a way of going, this is an opportunity for me to see where I'm emotionally don't feel worth it. So everybody, I'm gonna end the call tonight on you asking yourself, where do I have to question my worth? What do I don't not feel worth it to share my emotion with someone, to share tell them I feel insecure around someone, to not feel intimate with someone, or to not feel worthy of receiving money, support. Does that make sense? Cool. Oh, hi, Pat. How are you? Good to see you. So any other questions, you guys? Then I'm going to close up the night. I hope that all makes sense. It is a big deal right now, and I'm telling you, it's all going to come up. So when you see external stuff talking about these things, ignore them. It has nothing to do with you. That's their stuff for them to work through. You're all badasses. You are all lighthouses. Go shine your light. Know that this will clear through really soon. Remember to check out the courses. Like I said, the $9 Zodiac Wheels, your medicine wheel is available now. I think there's actually 2 classes there. The parenting with the Zodiac's available as well. And then if you're like, I want more, and you haven't done the iPod, go do the IDI Academy. You will literally understand between those 2 classes, the first one and the last one, the Zodiac Wheel and the IDI Academy. You just did those 2. You would literally understand who you are and why you show up the way you show up. Okay. So again, the next DMT method, I did move it to October 19th due to conflict of schedules. We moved it. We're good to go. So if you want to jump in, or you're going there, join me on October at the DMT method. That's where the deep dive goes into 10xing all these topics. If you're listening to this after the live session on YouTube or Spotify, The links are in the notes below. As always, you guys know, find me if you have any questions on any of these things. No question is too difficult to dance around. I love opening to all topics. Remember, you can drop a lot of these questions into the Truth Tribe, the private group. It is free, but it's a private group on Facebook, and I will always bring them up to you here and revisit them so we can talk about them as a group. Find me if you have questions. I love you all. Thank you for joining me tonight. You guys have a great night. Brightest blessings. Take care.